I'll call this video an idea for a study method or something like that because while the method is evidence-based, I haven't tried it out as much as I'd like to yet. So I'll plan to try it out more and probably make videos in the future on it as well. So the study method mostly revolves around flashcards. The first kind of component is just focusing on doing flashcards and not worrying about incorporating a bunch of other study methods as well. And then with the flashcards, there are three main behaviors. One behavior is making the flashcards. This means going through the material, whether it's a textbook or lecture slides or whatever you're trying to learn, and understanding it well enough that you can make good flashcards on it. The next behavior, and this is the one that I think makes it unique, is taking the flashcards you made during one study session and then doing them as the first thing you do in the next study session. I use Anki for spaced repetition of flashcards, and I noticed that it tends to give me older cards or ones that I'm in the process of learning, but oftentimes college and school tend to be based in the short term. Like, you learn something in lecture and you're expected to know it just a few days later or a week later, and so there isn't really enough time for Anki's algorithm to do what it needs to. So this is why I spend one study session making flashcards on something, and then in the next study session I start by doing those flashcards I just made. On Anki, there's a way to filter the deck so it just shows new cards, and what I like to do is when I go through it, bury cards that I've done that come back up, just so I'm doing each of the new cards once. This way I can sort of get the new cards into what I'm learning, and I think this helps support short-term learning, which I feel like typical spaced repetition algorithms may sort of be missing. Then the third step is the long-term retention aspect, which is where you just do flashcards on Anki without this new card only filter. So you're just doing all of the cards in the deck, and Anki sorts them using its spaced repetition algorithm. And I think it's important to make time for all three steps of the process. And that's also probably the hardest part of this study method, that it does take a significant amount of time. To summarize, the first step is making flashcards, which requires understanding the material. The second step is doing the flashcards you made just in the previous study session. Then the third step is doing your full deck of flashcards in whatever order the spaced repetition algorithm gives them to you in.